Once upon a time, there was a clever fox named Felicity, who lived with her husband Frank and their 3 cubs in a cozy burrow under a giant tree. Felicity loved to explore the world and have fun, but she also had a secret hobby: she was a teacher. She used her skills to teach various subjects and skills to the young animals of the forest, who were neglected and oppressed by the 3 powerful corporations that controlled the animal world: Boggis Industries, Bunce Enterprises, and Bean Corporation. These corporations were run by 3 greedy and ruthless animals: Boggis the badger, Bunce the beaver, and Bean the bear. They exploited the natural resources and oppressed the other animals with their high taxes, strict laws, and surveillance drones. Felicity taught her students about the history, culture, and diversity of the animal world, and encouraged them to think critically and creatively. She also taught them how to use technology, communication, and teamwork to solve problems and challenges. She did this not only for fun, but also for justice. She wanted to free the animal world from the tyranny of the 3 corporations. Felicity had a secret base under the old schoolhouse, where she and her students met and planned their actions. They had a lot of equipment and materials that they had collected or made, such as computers, radios, cameras, maps, posters, flyers, and banners. They also had a lot of courage and enthusiasm, which they needed to face the dangers and challenges that awaited them. They decided to launch a series of protests and campaigns against the 3 corporations, using their skills and creativity. They hacked into their systems and broadcasted their messages of freedom, education, and democracy to the animal world. They also organized rallies, marches, and demonstrations, where they displayed their posters, flyers, and banners, and chanted their slogans and songs. They also distributed their products, such as food, gadgets, and money, to the poor and needy animals, who were grateful and supportive of their cause. They managed to attract a lot of attention and sympathy from the animal world, and also to annoy and embarrass the 3 corporations, who tried to stop them. They sent their security forces and drones to arrest and disperse them, but they failed. Felicity and her students were too smart and agile for them. They used their technology, communication, and teamwork to evade and outsmart them. They also used their humor and irony to mock and ridicule them. Boggis, Bunce, and Bean were furious and frustrated by the teacher and her students. They tried to discredit and slander them, but they failed. They realized that they had underestimated the teacher and her students. They also realized that they had made a terrible mistake: they had messed with the wrong fox. The fantastic Ms. Fox, Felicity, and her students were not the only ones who were fighting against the 3 corporations. There were other groups of rebels and hackers who had similar goals and methods. They operated in different regions and sectors of the animal world, and they had different names and symbols. Some of them were the red rabbits, the green geese, and the zebra zappers. Felicity had heard about them, but she had never met them. She wondered if they could work together and form a coalition, or if they would clash and compete. She hoped for the former, and she decided to try to contact them. She used her computer and radio to send them encrypted messages, inviting them to join her in a secret meeting. She was surprised and delighted when she received positive responses from all of them. They agreed to meet her in a hidden location, which was an abandoned warehouse in the outskirts of the city. They also agreed to bring some of their equipment and materials, so that they could share and exchange them. Felicity and her students prepared for the meeting, and packed their bags with their gadgets, posters, flyers, and banners. They also brought some food, drinks, and music, to make the meeting more fun and friendly. They took their bikes and rode to the warehouse, avoiding the patrols and checkpoints of the corporations. They arrived at the warehouse, and saw that the other groups had also arrived. They recognized them by their names and symbols, which they wore on their clothes and accessories. They greeted them warmly, and introduced themselves. They also admired their equipment and materials, and complimented them on their achievements. They entered the warehouse, and found a large and spacious room, where they could set up their stations and displays. They also found a stage, where they could make speeches and presentations. They decided to start the meeting with a round of introductions, where each group would tell their story and their vision. Felicity volunteered to go first, and she climbed up the stage. She took out her microphone and turned it on. She looked at the audience and saw a diverse and colorful crowd of animals who were eager and curious to hear her. She smiled and began to speak. "Hello, everyone. My name is Felicity, and I am the leader of the Fantastic Foxes. We are a group of teachers and students who believe in the power of education and creativity. We fight against the 3 corporations that oppress and exploit the animal world, and we expose their secrets and crimes. We also spread our messages of freedom, education, and democracy, and we inspire and empower other animals to join our cause. We are here today to share our story and our vision with you, and to invite you to join us in our fight. We are the Fantastic Foxes, and we are here to make a difference." After Felicity finished her speech, she received a loud and enthusiastic applause from the audience. They cheered and clapped for her, and praised her for her courage and creativity. They also expressed their support and admiration for her cause, and agreed to join her in her fight. Felicity thanked them for their kind words and gestures, and invited them to come up to the stage and share their stories and visions. One by one, the other groups came up and spoke. They told their stories of how they became rebels and hackers, and what motivated them to fight against the 3 corporations. They also told their visions of how they wanted to change the animal world, and what values and goals they had. They all had different backgrounds and perspectives, but they also had a lot in common. They all wanted to end the oppression and exploitation of the animal world, and to create a more free, fair, and diverse society. They all valued education, creativity, and democracy, and they all used technology, communication, and teamwork to achieve their aims. They all respected and appreciated each other, and they all recognized the potential and power of their coalition. They decided to call themselves the Fantastic Federation, and to adopt the symbol of a fox wearing a hat and holding a microphone, which represented Felicity and her role as the leader and the spokesperson. They also decided to plan their next action, which would be their biggest and most ambitious one yet. They wanted to strike at the heart of the 3 corporations, and to expose their ultimate secret and crime. They had learned from their sources and investigations that the 3 corporations had a secret underground facility, where they conducted their most sinister and dangerous experiments. They had discovered that the 3 corporations were trying to create a superweapon, which they called the Omega Project.